Right, so to begin with then, getting started with transformations. In this section, we'll define what a transformation is, what the Cloudinary URL is and looks like, and we'll also explain a little bit about caching transformations on the CDN. So what is a transformation, first of all? So a transformation is our word for referring to any asset that has been changed in some way, either for the purposes of optimization or aesthetics. So this can be to images or videos. If you're a seasoned Cloudinary user, you might know that there is a third upload type of raw, so images, video, and raw. Of course, raw files are typically things like text, CSS, JavaScript, that kind of a thing. So we don't apply any transformations to those. But transformation can be changing the size of something, cropping part of the image or video out, changing the format, changing the quality or compression, and applying artistic effects such as filters, overlays, that kind of a thing. So for instance, here with this dog video, we can see the original asset is really rather large, but if we wanted to, we can crop out just this middle part, and that's what we would define as a transformation. Similarly, with this very smiley, happy lady, if we had, say, a banner on our website, we need to slot that picture in, we can transform the image accordingly.
So starting out, we want to kind of look at what is a Cloudinary URL, and you'll see this called the Transformation URL API in our docs. What exactly is in this? And what you'll see here's an example of one, and here's the image that it would produce. I've kind of tried to generalize what we're seeing in this so that you can kind of look at a URL and identify the parts and then know what parts you're changing when you're making a transformation. So res cloudinary.com, if you're using a free site or you haven't given your own domain, that's probably what you're going to see for your domain name. Then you'd see your cloud name. So in my case here, Cloudinary-training. Then your resource type. So this is going to be image, video, raw, generally. And when we're doing transformations, it's only going to be image or video. Those are the only types that we can transform. Type, this is going to map to upload here. And this really is about access control. So upload is our public access control. If you were doing some restrictions, you might see authenticated or private there. And then here in the middle here is what our transformation is. And at this point, you're just seeing kind of some abbreviations for some changes that are going to take place in this on the original image for this asset. And that's what we're going to be learning about. What are these? When to use them? You know, what exactly do we do with them? And generally speaking, at this position, you may not have a transformation. This might be blank, or it might have a version, which would be a number, a V with a number representing the time and date it was created. Versioning is important for, especially when you're doing backup. For what we're doing here, probably won't see versions. We generally will be just seeing these transformations. If we didn't have a transformation, we'd be looking at our original asset, the thing that we uploaded. And then finally, public ID, which here is CLD-sample, which may or may not include a format. So we'll see different examples there. And this is kind of laid out here just as I described.
So moving on to caching transformations on the CDN. So if you're not familiar, a CDN is a content delivery network. It's a series of distributed machines across the globe which host content. The idea being that when you make a request, it goes to your local CDN server, which is geographically close to you, so response comes back quicker, rather than somebody in Singapore or Sydney or Switzerland making a request, it coming all the way to London and then going all the way back again. That adds a lot of latency, adds loading times, and it's not a great experience. So we use a variety of different CDNs. So when an image is requested on the CDN, when an image is requested in the browser, the request goes through to the CDN. The CDN will then take a look and see what versions of that asset it has cached. So here we're requesting the CFIT H400 W400 version of skier.jpg. So that request would go through to the CDN. And the CDN would go, right, I have V1234567. I've got the original one with no transformations at all. I've got 100, 100, 200, 200. Aha, I have 400, 400. So I'll send that across to the user. In an example where a request is made, say for this one here, 450 by 450, that doesn't exist within the CDN, what the CDN will do is it'll look through all the assets that it has. It'll decide, wait, nope, I don't have that. It'll then send a request to Cloudinary, say, hello, can I please have the 450 by 450 CFIT version, please? We will then generate that image on the fly, send it up to the CDN, and and the CDN will then send it to the user. The good thing about that is next time a user requests a cfill H450, W450, that'll already be cached within the CDN. Won't have to make the additional journey all the way to our servers. We won't then have to spend extra time generating that image. It'll already be cached. Now, a little bit later on, we'll talk about generating content eagerly, but just know that when you're generating asset within the browser that hasn't been created before, that's known as creating an asset on the fly.